Hey everybody, we finally made it, so it's time to freak out about episode 1. Just careful for spoilers from the episode if you haven't seen it yet. And look what just came in the mail today, just in time. So many great one-liners in this episode. Shall we begin? Tell them the North remembers. So welcome back everybody, we've finally got episode 1. I'm doing a weekly HBO Now giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. This will be top 10 WTF and Easter eggs. I'll also explain the video schedule at the end of this and how it's all going to go down. But starting with number 10, Reverse Red Wedding. So they pick up almost immediately after the end of last season with Arya wearing Walder Frey's face in this wonderful twist. You wonder why I give you 2 banquets when Walder Frey is such an awful person. Well, now you know, because he wanted to poison them all. I love how on the nose it was, like everything seems so calm, Walder Frey's acting weirdly nice, so you know instantly that something's up. So within 2 seconds of him opening his mouth, you know exactly what he's gonna do. Oh my god, it's Arya. She's gonna take them all down. It's a reverse red wedding. Oh my god, this is so amazing. And I love the way that she starts throwing all the things that they did to the Starks in their faces. You murdered all these people, you slit their throats, but you didn't kill them all. You should have killed them all. And let it not be said that Arya is without mercy, although really I think the reason she saved Walder Frey's wife so that she would survive to tell everyone what happened, that the North remembers. Leave one alive so that they can strike fear into the hearts of everyone else knowing that something terrible happened and the North was responsible for it. So the big surprise here, number 9, I'm going to jump through the episode just for the different storylines. Number 9, Arya is actually riding south to kill the queen. And we finally learned what Ed Sheeran's cameo was. I love the way that they're clearly trying to set up that Arya is probably going to murder all of those soldiers there. Like they talk longingly about their families. They seem like really nice people. They invite her to eat their food. She starts scanning around, looking at their swords, seeing where their weapons are stored. They even offer her a drink. Are you even old enough to drink? Like, they don't take her seriously because she seems like a little girl. So the big twist is probably going to be that she's going to stab the crap out of all of them. But the bigger surprise to me, though, is that she's going south to get Cersei to cross her off her list instead of going north. So it does make me wonder how she's going to meet up with everyone else and reunite with the rest of the Starks. Like, is that going to happen later? Because there's a couple points in the trailer where you see them further in the south. It looks like the Hound's in the Dragon Pit. And did you catch the reference that Lannister soldier was talking about? I wanted to go to King's Landing. I wanted to see the Great Sept. I wanted to see the Dragon Pit. But the Great Sept was blown up and the Dragon Pit is in ruins. You see exactly what they're doing there. They're hyping up the Dragon Pit for later in the season because we've never actually seen it on the TV show. And that's actually what this shot is here with this mystery box that they've unveiled. But number 8, that wonderful reveal of the Night King and the army of the dead being preceded by the winter storm. So you actually get a bit of a clarification. The Night King does create a storm that hides their movements, but he's not responsible for the greater winter change in seasons. He's just able to take advantage of it. But the coolest thing about that, though, is the way they use CG to highlight their eyes so that you see them through the mist before you can make their faces out. But you know exactly who it is. Just calmly marching south towards the wall. And because of the Hound storyline, in the way that Jon Snow was setting up the wildlings to man Eastwatch by the Sea, you know exactly where the battle's going to take place. So that's probably where all this craziness at the end of the season is going to happen. Then as Bran and Meera hit the wall, I love the way that Ed reacts to them like, who the hell are you? Are you wildlings? What's going on? But it's Bran. Like, Meera tries to explain who she is. He's like, yeah, whatever. But because Bran is seen across space and time, he's seen where Ed's been. He knows exactly what happened to him. So he tells him what he's done. And he's like, oh my god, yeah, I did all those things. I was at Hardhome. I saw the army of the dead. I saw the Night King. All right, let's get you in here. Let's keep going. In number 7, we finally go to Jon Snow in the Great Hall talking about how they need to prepare for the army of the dead. And they start arguing about what they're going to do about manning the wall. Like I said, it's the wildlings that are going to man Eastwatch by the Sea because that's the closest location to Hardhome, and that's where the Night King is coming. But you sort of see them sow the seeds of dissent between Jon Snow and Sansa. So it's not as bad as they make it out to be. They do argue, and she makes a good point. Robb and Ned both lost their heads. Would listening to me in my counsel be the worst thing in the world? So he begrudgingly acknowledges that she's probably right, but you see that little twinkle in Littlefinger's eye, so he's just going to try and drive a wedge between them for as long as he can. because you have the War to the south, which Sansa is more concerned with. She's more worried about what Cersei's doing, and Jon's more worried about the war to the north in the Night King. But I thought they did a good job of balancing their concerns. Like, all the things that Sansa says are actually big problems. Cersei is still a big problem. And Jaime, one of the best things about his storyline, we'll get to in a second, is the idea that he can actually see all of Westeros in his mind. Every city, every town. Father trained me well. So it gives you an idea for the scope of the battles this season. There isn't just a war to the north and a war to the south. There's going to be war all over the Seven Kingdoms. But we finally got confirmation on Alice Karstark, and we have young Ned Umber. So I like that Jon Snow put his foot down, because now we have Alice Karstark. For the book plot, she could always potentially get married to one of the wildlings, but they might choose not to do that plot. But remember, they actually gave a hat tip to the fact that those are the two places that are the next defense after the wall. So not if, but when the army of the dead makes it south of the wall, because we know they have to, those are the next places that they'll come. One of the cool things, though, as they're arguing with each other on the battlements, is the way that Jon Snow talks about the history of Ned Stark that we haven't heard before. Father used to say everything before the word but was complete shite. When we got the Hound's vision, we actually didn't see the vision, though. So if we actually do flashbacks, that'll probably be through Bran's storyline the next time he's near a weirwood. But number 6, we catch up with Cersei, who's surveying the map. I love the idea that she has this whole plan that she's thought out, and Jaime just wants to talk about their dead children. He acknowledges that there's all this craziness in the Seven Kingdoms. He has this map of Westeros burned into his brain, and some of that amazing battle commander in him starts to come out. That's going to be a big thing this season. The idea that he really understands larger troop movements and how to manage big, large armies. That is something that Jon Snow does not know how to do. So just remember that. The people in the north need a really good military commander. Jaime is a really good military commander. He seems like he's starting to bristle with what Cersei and Euron are getting ready to do. So they're just laying some seeds in there, but before we get to all that, they say the first thing that they need to do is feed their army. The grain that they need is at Highgarden, so what they're going to try and do is go treat with them. If they can't work out a deal, then they'll kill all the Tyrells and take their grain. So Highgarden and the Greyjoy battle are like the next two big things they're hyping up. But Cersei's plan, you also see how quickly her mind works too. We need an ally. Who's going to be our ally now? Don't you worry about that. Cue Euron riding up with all his ships. So number 5, Euron just being spectacularly disgusting with Cersei and with Jaime. I have two good hands. Did you see the look on Jaime's face when he threw that at him? He was basically telling him that I'm going to marry your sister, screw her rotten, and then become king of Westeros. And Jaime's just utterly disgusted with him to begin with. Now he really wants to kill him. But they need him. They need his ships. He has the best armada in the world. And I love the way that Euron plays on the idea of the rebellion. I'm actually glad that you came to the Iron Islands. You weeded out all the bad Ironborn. That's the reason that I was sent into exile and became the world's greatest sea captain. Really, I think that Euron is just playing the game. He senses a big opportunity in this alliance with Cersei. He wants to be king of everything that he sees, and he needs Cersei to do that. So he's going to bring her a gift, and that's going to seal the deal. I feel like we're all in agreement that that gift is probably the Sand Snakes. You remember that scene where they sent her the gift? In the description for episode 3, it says that Cersei returns a gift. She probably returns dead sand snakes to Dorne. So witness the birth of the most unholy alliance in all of Westeros, even more evil than the Night King and the army of the dead. Cersei and Euron, two birds of a feather. They actually went to great lengths to show the similarities between those characters. Euron even says, we're very much alike in that you have no humility either. But number 4, cut to Samwell in the Citadel. I love the way they actually use the astrolabe to cut that transition, just reminding you of the opening credits. And it might not seem like it, but I actually laughed pretty hard during that montage, the way they cut things. They started to make the soup bowls and the soup that they were serving seem exactly like the dirty bedpans that Sam was cleaning out. Like they were literally eating shit, and he was just dumping it into the privy. But then you get the teaser for the forbidden knowledge. So you meet Jim Broadbent's character, who's only confirmed as an Archmaester. I couldn't find any references to a name, but it seems like he might be an analog for Maester Marwyn because he believes Samwell when he talks about the army of the dead. And he gets sort of a mini history lesson too, where he says, people thought the world was ending during Robert's Rebellion, the end of the Targaryens. People thought the world was ending back during Aegon's conquest. People thought the world was ending back during the Long Night. But every winter that has come has ended, and the wall has stood through it all. So you know what that's setting up. Obviously, when they say that something has stood for forever, it means that it's not going to stand for forever, it's going to come crashing down. But number 3, Samwell, reading the book, sees a picture of the cat's paws dagger that we see Arya wearing in the promo photos, which also belongs to Littlefinger currently. You don't quite make it out, but Littlefinger had it on his person when Ned Stark was killed. I even think he's holding it to his throat there, but you see it on Ned Stark's desk here. So if you don't know what this is, the cat's paw was the assassin that is implied that Joffrey sent to kill Bran after he caught Jaime and Cersei and got pushed out the window. That was unsuccessful, Catelyn fought him off, and then Ned Stark brought the dagger with him when they came to King's Landing, and he had it on him with him when he was taken into custody and thrown in the Black Cells. So originally, the dagger belonged to Littlefinger, then somehow it wound up in the possession of the cat's paw assassin. Now it's back with Littlefinger. So this is big conspiracy theory that Littlefinger planted the idea in Joffrey's mind that he should send the cat's paw to kill Bran back during season 1. But Samwell turns right past that and goes to the Dragonstone page and learns about the Dragonglass factory. Oh my god, I have to tell Jon, giving Jon one more reason to go to Dragonstone, because he tells the Lords of the North, everybody look for all the Dragonglass you can find. So the minute that he gets that raven from Samwell, he is going to want to make a beeline for Daenerys. Look, you have something that we need to form an alliance. The cat's paw Valyrian dagger is more of a background plot that will probably pay off later in the season, because at some point, Arya has to get that off of Littlefinger's body, preferably his dead body, so we'll see how that plays out. But number 2, the Brotherhood riding north. We go back to the farmstead where the Hound was with Arya at the beginning of season 4, so it's a nice mirror for that episode. And look how the weather has changed since the last time they were there. This is season 4, this is now. Truly, winter has come. But I think the whole reason for this scene is so that the Hound will become a believer in what they're doing. Just the same way that Tyrion wasn't a believer until he saw the dragons with his own eyes, until Jorah saw the dragons with his own eyes. Like, you have to see something fantastic in order to believe. And the Hound is confronted with the misdeeds of his past, and he sees the vision in the flames, so he becomes a believer, and that's what motivates him to bury the dead. You deserve better. It was a really great eulogy, and you get the setup for Beric. Why does the Lord of Light keep bringing you back? Why are you so special? So you see him later in the trailer when he lights his sword on fire. He's probably there to protect Jon Snow and allow him to get away. So a whole lot of big payoffs being set up for the end of the season. But if you remembered the Blackwater episode, like, they noticed that the farmer killed himself and his daughter rather than allow themselves the fate of starving to death. Cersei almost did the same thing during the Blackwater episode with the poison. And of course, number 1, we have that awesome hero's return as Daenerys rolls into the Bay of Dragonstone. You see all this iconography of dragons carved into the rock. She touches the beach like she's trying to commune with the island itself. She hasn't been there since she was a baby. She was born during a storm at Dragonstone. That's why they call her Daenerys Stormborn. The next episode is literally called Stormborn. But the interesting thing is that while she was being born and that big storm was happening, the majority of the Targaryen fleet, this was back during Robert's Rebellion, was being smashed at sea. So I love the parallels for the storm of her birth and the destruction of the Targaryen fleet with the idea that Euron is going to smash her fleet during the Stormborn episode. But just a great way to end the episode, her looking at the throne room. They try to convey all this history of her family. Aegon the Conqueror sat here before he conquered the Seven Kingdoms. He's also the person who had that map table built. He had it built because he really enjoyed Westeros. He visited it a lot of times before he chose to conquer it. So just a double bonus that when he did, he actually had a big battle planning map. And in present day, it provides a nice mirror for Cersei's floor map when Daenerys says, "Shall we begin?" Like, now the wars can begin. So let me know in the comments, what was your favorite moment? We got to freak out about this. It's going to be awesome. And the episode was a little bit longer, I think, just to allow them to hit all the bases with all the big characters. But what'll happen next is I'll do a trailer video for episode 2. Then I'll do my Q&A video the day after that. And congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, Gary Stokes. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. While you wait for everything, you can click here for all my death predictions, and you can click here for the rest of my Season 7 videos. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.